Have you ever been playing through a game, enjoying it immensely? Every second you get, every free moment, you want to just jump right back into the game. And then you take a break, and a day goes by or 2 days go by, and then every time you try again, you get 5-10 minutes in, and then you just find a reason to stop. Based on simple internet research, you are not alone. Most people who purchase and begin a game will never actually see the end of it. So let us know in the comments, what's the last game that you played that you didn't finish, and why? So let's talk about the Dead Space Remake and the millions of people who didn't make it. So should you finish the Dead Space Remake? I think there's a dichotomy here. Have you played it before, or is this your first time playing the game? Let's start with my experience. So the background history here is that I played through all 3 Dead Spaces when they first released in the early, I guess that would be the late 2000s. So I'll be coming from that perspective. I really enjoyed my time with the games then, and I still remember seeing the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star commercial that sucked me into the series for the first time. That intense, somber music, coupled with, I think, every kind of death you could experience in the game, really made me want to play it. So when the remake came out and received mostly glowing reviews, it made me really want to try it again. I picked up a copy, excited to relive this experience that would make me want to duct tape over every fucking vent in my house. I am playing the game on PS5, so this is coming from that perspective. As you can see from the achievements, there's still 62% of us that haven't finished the game on PS5. If you're playing the game on Steam or Xbox, let us know in the comments. Is your achievement similar to this? Is it better or worse? Let's see who's completing the game the most. When I first jumped into the game, not only was that feeling of nostalgia I got hit with, but a freshness that they did with the graphical improvements as well as the lighting. The feeling of walking down the flight deck and new arrivals, awaiting the quarantine to happen and all hell to break loose was gripping. But it did leave me lacking the sense of surprise that I first had so long ago. And that lack of surprise I think will be key for us kind of going forward. I'll say they did a great job with the environment. Even in spite of previously playing the game, the suspense was there. I could feel my heart rate increasing with every great dropping sound in the background. I think overall the lighting improvements was really key to this. It did give that extra atmosphere that made it feel a little bit fresher. Picking up the plasma cutter for the first time in this game was even better. I really enjoyed some of the new systems they added, where instead of having to use power nodes to open doors, you had security levels. It gave a sense of added longevity if you really like to kind of backtrack as you unlock higher security clearances to go back and see what was in there. You know, and experience new necromorphs who may be in that area. I'm not the biggest fan of having to backtrack in the same level designs, but I did enjoy the fact that I could use my power nodes at will to upgrade things without having to worry about missing out on a door. The new circuit system, which allowed you to choose which suffering you're going to experience, was a great touch. Any aspects of a game that enhance your freedom to actually make decisions, I think is awesome, and I think it makes it much more like you're playing the game for real. Or I guess I should say living the experience. So where am I at on this journey? Should I finish the game, and more specifically, if you're in some of the similar situations as I am, should you finish the game? So I'm on chapter 6, so you have to basically inject about 3.5 million Weezers. I think that's accurate. But there's nothing really wrong with that, is why I stopped. I basically just took a pause and a couple-day break, and when I come back, I just couldn't really get back into it. The game itself is great, and I think for a remake, it is phenomenal. And I think we really go back to that whole dichotomy of experiences. If you haven't played the game, and if I hadn't played the game, I would absolutely think I would be compelled to finish it. But because I have, even in spite of the new experiences, it's still largely the same story with largely the same enemies that I have already played. And for the most part, replaying a game like I think I played Elden Ring for 300 hours, because there are so many different weapons and different ways to go about it, that I think is missing here. I think if there were a new weapon or some other thing that would have just compelled me to want to try to experience it yet again. I know they added alternate fire modes, but I think just for me, that's just not enough. So now back to you. And what I would say is it goes back to that dichotomy. If you have played this game before and you find yourself in the same situation, maybe your time is better spent elsewhere, especially if your game time is limited. But if you haven't played it, I absolutely think you should try to get back into it. The game in itself is an amazing experience to have went through. The intensity is real, the story is actually pretty good, and it's just a game that I think everyone should play if they're into this type of game. But I myself, given everything, am not going to finish it. So you've got my answer for what it's worth. What do you think you're going to do? Let us know in the comments of where you've stopped and if you're going to try to pick it back up. And if you disagree with me and think I should finish it, by all means, let me know. So thanks for spending this couple of minutes with me floating around here in the YouTube universe. I am looking forward to doing more content and having more gaming discussions with you all. So instead of doing kind of general Let's Play stuff or that type of content, I'm looking to do a series where we talk about the first couple hours of video games, what that kind of full experience is like, and whether I'm going to finish the game myself or not. So it's like not really a review, but it's the review of the first part of games, and does it inspire you via story, gameplay, or any other type of content that may bring you in to actually push through and finish the game from the perspective of someone who doesn't finish a lot of games they start. So if that's something that's interesting to you, I would really love to have you along for this journey. Until then, City Cat out.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.